Alright, I'm going to show you guys how to use forms for the website. Now this is a fairly complicated video. I'll try to cover everything as best as I possibly can. I'll try to show you some examples of how you can use it if you didn't want my help. Okay. Now there's only two forms on the website right now. One on the Contact Us page, your standard contact form, and then we have one down here in the bottom right for the footer that shows on every single page. Okay. How we edit those is in the back end, so I already have a tab open. Alright, and we have a whole section for forms. Okay, so let's take a look at one that we've already have created, which is the Contact Us form. Okay, now this is fairly simple to use. It could be as advanced as you possibly want it. If you're not comfortable with more advanced options, then I would just recommend just not exploring those and just staying with the more of the basic options here. Okay, now we have a name field, email field, phone, your message, and where you can get those is over here. Alright, so if you want to add new fields, say for instance we wanted to add, maybe a time field. Okay, we can do that, and it'll add it to the bottom of the form, and then people can enter the time here. For whatever reason, maybe you wanted to create an event, and you want to be able to, or people to create a form that creates an event. You want to be able to set the time for that. That you would do here. I'm going to delete that. Okay. Now for each form element, alright, you can edit them. And all you need to do is click it, or you can click the edit button up here, and it expands. You can give it a name, so you want to label it properly. There are some other advanced options here, and you can make it required if you like. Alright, so for the email field, we want that required, right? If someone wants to contact us, we got to at least have something to get back in touch with them with. So we need to at least have an email field. All right. There's some advanced options here. If you don't know what they are, I would recommend not touching them. The only thing that you could really touch in here is the field size, which is small, medium, or large. Okay. So if you want to stretch across the page, it would be large. If you want really small, you can do that, but by default, I think medium is a good choice. Okay. This is a text box area, pretty standard, etc. Now, here's where it gets a little bit more complicated. Say, for instance, someone fills out one of these forms, and you want to decide who receives a notification for that. Right? So how are you notified that someone has filled out that form, and how do you get the message? Okay. Well, we're going to go to Form Settings. Okay, and we're going to go to Notifications. Okay, now the admin notification is what you would like to be more concerned about. Okay, the admin notification is what is sent to you when someone's filled out the form. Alright, so we're going to edit that. Okay, now when name the email, just bear with me for a second here. Okay, now you can name the notification just for your purposes, but that doesn't really isn't really displayed anywhere. All right, but you want to state who the send to address is. Now, what I would do is when we launch this thing, we'll pick whose email this is going to be sent to, whether it's the president or the VP of Ops. I know you guys have your own Gmail emails, and we'll set that here. So who receives these whenever someone whenever someone fills out the email. Okay. The from email, who do you want that to be from? Maybe the person entered an email address, so maybe we want that to be their email. Okay, so this would be the email address. Let's remove that of the person that entered the form, or filled out the form. Okay. When we receive the form, we want to know what the subject line is going to be. So a new contact form submission form will basically be the name of this. All right, or new Contact Us submission form from, we can say, put the name here. This will show their name if they enter their name. Okay, down here it'll just show all the fields and what was filled out. So if they put a message in there, you'll see the message and that notification to you. Okay. We'll update the notification. Again, this is just the email that's sent to you once that someone has filled out the form successfully on the website. Now say for instance you created some kind of form that isn't just a contact us form. Maybe you're creating like an event and you want people to sign up for the event. Maybe this form requires a confirmation to be sent to the person who filled out the form. We can do that as well. So let's go back to our notifications. Alright, we're going to add a new notification. Okay, now we can configure this to be sent to the person that filled out that form. Okay, so you can call this user form, and then you can enter a manual email, but we don't want that. If this is going to someone who actually filled out the form, then we want this to be dynamic and fill this field automatically with their email, right? So we're going to select a field, and we're going to say email. They filled out their email address. This is supposed to go to them, so we want it to be sent to them. All right. From name, you can make it KSI. The from email could be, whatever, ufakSci.com. Whatever you want that from email to be. Subject, you can enter fields in here if you want to, and down here you can also enter fields based on what they entered. Okay. You can also add your own custom messages as well. So if you want to say hello name, right? So it'd be hello the name of the person that entered their name, etc. If you had a name field. Again, this would be sent to them. Really handy if you wanted to create your own custom forms. Maybe you want, again, maybe a good example is for corporate sponsorships. If someone was interested in sponsoring you and you want to create a separate form for that, you could do that here and have a confirmation sent to them based on the details they filled out, or just tell them, hey, this is when we'll respond to you, or here's what to expect, etc. Okay, so those are notifications. Let's take a look at also what we got here. Let's take a look at confirmations. The confirmation is basically what the person sees when they successfully filled out the email. So someone fills out the contact form, then you should give them a message saying, hey, you successfully filled it out, and thanks for contacting us, we'll get in touch with you shortly. Maybe you want to edit that, say something different, you could do that. Do that here. Lastly, under form settings, okay, you can give it a form title, what is the description of the form, if you want that to display above the form. There's really not too much else that you'll edit here. The only thing I would suggest is that if you're creating a new form is enable these two options down here. All right, we don't want to be spammed, so we can use some nice technology within the code that prevents spam. Animations are nice to have in case the form needs to move at all. That's really it as far as the forms here, or I'm sorry, form settings at least. The last thing I want to show you guys is entries. So whenever someone fills out the form, it'll have a log of who has, whether it's been checked or email, basically all the details of the form that they have here. Okay, so you can click that up here. Another way to look at the entries is on our dashboard. All right, so we have a summary of that. We don't have any filled out right now, all right, but they would display here. Another thing you can look at is if we view all the forms. So we could take a look at how many views there are and then how many entries there are. Conversion is for business websites. If someone came across a form, what was the chance of them actually filling it out? Okay. If we wanted to reset these, we could. So let's do that. Let's select all of them and say reset views, apply. Okay. Now they're reset back to 0. Okay. Now how to add this to a particular page. I'll show you. So on the contact us page here, let's edit this page. All it is just a Visual Composer element here. All right. So if I wanted to add another one, we could, and I'm just going to pick Gravity Form because that's the name of the plugin that I'm using. It's called Gravity Forms. And I'm just going to pick which form I want to display. There's another one of the contact us. You don't have to display the form title if you don't want to, but you can. Description if you want. And I would always recommend enabling Ajax as well, depending on the type of form that you enter. This is optional, you don't need to worry about that. Save it, update it, and now we should have two separate forms, or two of the exact same form on this page. There you go, and that's how you add and edit forms.